All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do The Moon is Following Us, issue number 7, with it's different than the Nightmare cover from the last issue, right? I mean, this is the Nightmare cover, this is the opposite, I guess. Yeah, we see these creatures in here. All right, we have a flashback between the daughter, she is the, where this whole thing's it's the story about her. Well, no, it's not really the story about her, right? It's more like between Duncan and Sam here, and the daughter is in the middle, right? We have a flashback, that it's not, but the series leans very heavily about the love for their daughter, the parents. I mean, and with this all this crazy stuff that is in between, like there was a war breaking out, and they're I believe in their mind of their daughter right now here on the other side of the real world, I guess. And we have this Brio, this well, he's not really a frog, he's a toad, right? He gave his life, and then one of the nightmares, this guy here with the spider armor looks great. He says it didn't matter in the end because everyone would have fallen because their daughter is now growing up, right? And she also reminiscing about that her mother died, that she, pushed the bad thoughts away and not letting her emotions come to the surface, like suppressing their sadness or their depression, or there's different ways of coping with the loss of a parent. I mean, I did the same when my mom died that day. I just didn't want to be remembered about the fact that she wasn't there. I just repressed it, so I couldn't grieve. And and years later, it just all came out. Repressing certain emotions is not, it's not good. Anyway, so Jebediah, you said that the cascade can only amplify what was in Penny's mind. It's true, they only grow what has already been implanted. So Duncan says, what if we are part of the problem? Well, so what do you mean, says Duncan. Maybe I'm the reason my mom is here? I've been carrying it with all this time. How could I expect Penny not to as well? So, coming back to that here. I mean, the execution for me personally is not that good. I mean, I know why they did certain things in here. I'm coming back to that in a second. Anyway, so we're getting introduced who these nightmares actually are. Right, so this is Creature's Stringer. We have, what is that name? Emirp Alpha. Well, it looks like he's made of cardboard or something. We have a tree guy, and we have Lucy Free, who has her hair that is attached to her hand. Anyway, so basically, Sam says, hey, how do you become nightmares? She bounces that back. How do you become a human? Since I came into being, I knew I had one purpose: to push Penny, to challenge and prepare her for the terrifying world. This life is all we know. And the other, what's his name again? Jebediah says, hey, we need to get moving, right? Otherwise the cascade will catch us. But Sam says, I have an idea. Let them find us, right? And then we go to the real world, where the sorcerer here has betrayed Penny and Sam and Duncan because he was their friends. Not anymore, because he was now being manipulated by Pigface, because the wizard has his own daughter that he needs to take care of, etc. But I believe he is, doesn't like what he has done. Sort of. I mean, and one page, not here, but in the other one, I thought, oh, he's a bad guy, right? He betrayed them. And then later he shows a little bit of remorse, so I'm not sure how to take that. I mean, I guess if you have your own daughter, you would do everything for them, right? But, I mean, show a little bit more that you don't agree with what's happening, instead of, aha, I betrayed you. And then the next page is, oh, I'm so sorry. I may be regretting it. So, yeah, I have a little bit of trouble with that. Anyway, so Duncan and Sam here has a little bit of a moment, and she also apologized to him that she wasn't trusting him before because she says, "You were amazing back there along the river with the damn car seat. Was badass." And he says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Right? I know I love you who you are, right? And then his face is changing a little bit. He wants to say something, but I believe he knows that he is basically the weaker part of this relationship because I'm calling him out for that, of the writer, that he made Duncan a weak, useless male, and that doesn't sit well for with me personally. But maybe he is a little bit turning around, but maybe he doesn't know how to man up. Who knows? But then there's a fox, so she touches it, and then it opens its mouth and suddenly attacks her, maybe. The visuals are great here. I believe Riley Rosmo, right? Yeah, Rosmo. I think he's a good artist. I said it many times. I didn't like his other stuff. Here is where he shines, in my opinion. All this fantasy, all this weird stuff, and his art is very fluid, if you will. And I really like that. Colors are nice too. And she said, "Oh no, he is hugging me." And now she has a fox hand for whatever reasons. "This is so weird," he says. "Well, your mustache too." All right. So then we have the wizard here scanning the situation, and he says, "Hey, looks like we caught them resting inside," right? So the evil army is now preparing to go into this playful world, I guess. And then they see this string cat, but it's all a diversion because, yeah, their side is now being attacked by the nightmares, right? Cool. And yeah, we have this, and yeah, I believe this is the not the nightmares of pennies, but more their toys. Maybe they're positive, they're weird, they're unicorns, they're stuff like that. It looks great, I must say. I like the craziness of this, and so Duncan here, I don't like his just okay. Well, it doesn't matter. He still has this. I don't know how you say this in English. Maybe it's the same word, but it's the chair that people use for their kids in the back of their car and wrap it in. That maxi cozy. That's how we call it. So yeah, he says, "You are not belong here." He says to Pigface, "We are the ones who may terrorize here," right? So action and all, like I said, looks cool. But then this cardboard creature is then transforming, I guess. And then we have the bigger bad guys here with the giant snake, and it turns into what is it? A cannon, maybe? Well, it's not really a cannon, more like a slingshot or something like that. So Sam pushes the gun. She has still that fox hand, but she doesn't do anything with it, right? I mean, it looks all cool and jazzy and all that stuff, but she doesn't do anything with it. And so Duncan then kills the snake, but how will he get down? He's still flying, right? It's not that he can fly to the ground, I guess. Or maybe we never see it. Anyway, so these creatures are falling down. Sam is going into an attack because it's her plan, right? And then she says, "Mom," because this is I believe a manifestation of Penny's fears, I guess, or depression about that, her grandmother is not there, but somehow it turned into a villain. And then Sam says it's okay to go. And, this is her way of saying goodbye to her mother. Here's where I have a problem with it. So her mother then disappears or let go, turns into bugs flying away. "I'm sorry I didn't let you go sooner." So I'm not agreeing with all this. The reason that I'm having a problem with this is that her manifestation, it's not her real mom, right? I mean, that's what I'm guessing, has killed a lot of creatures in here, right? Did a lot of suffering, and just Sam goes in, hugs her, and all is forgiven. No, that's not how I roll, right? I mean, I'm more like an eye for an eye kind of thing. I like redemption, but this is not, for me personally, the way it should have been told. I know I get what the writer, Daniel Warren Johnson, is getting at, but it's over too quick, right? I wish there was some kind of a battle here, maybe some words thrown around, and then at the end they realize, that this is how it needs to end or something like that. But not so sudden, this is way too sudden in my opinion. Anyway, so creatures are dissolving, their army is now halved and they need to retreat. But then the other creature, there's two of them, right? And he said, you think you won? You don't know how deep you truly are. So Duncan has a flashback when he was a little boy. Hey, Duncan, remember Uncle Jeff? He's going to be looking after you while your mom and I go out. Hey, buddy, you ready to have a good time tonight? So this is a turn that I didn't expect. So I guess this is, this has a very darker meaning, right? About what's happening here. What is he saying, by the way? Remember now. No words. Our little secret. And he goes away, and Duncan is, I don't know, falling into some kind of a coma. He's out of it. Leads us to the next issue. I said, okay, that is interesting and possibly dark. Leads into probably something that people don't talk about often, if you know what I mean, if that is the case. But we're going to find out in the next issue. I don't have it yet, so I'm like I said, I'm behind with a lot of books. So great book, by the way. Do a Powerbomb by Danny Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer. Yeah, I love the series. I really do. I'm looking forward to the next issue. This is a surprise hit personally for me. A lot of, Daniel Warren Johnson, he's a good artist, but he's also a fun writer. That's why I'm, following his work a little bit. Not everything is good. I have my problems here and there with some of his style of writing, but overall, it's good. It's good. I like it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked the video and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.